Hey guys, welcome back to the General's Workshop. Have you ever wondered if you could build your very own DIY wooden countertop instead of shelling out those big bucks for those expensive pre-built butcher blocks? Well, maybe you've stood in the store like I did, staring at it going, I think I can do that myself. Yeah, I can do that myself. Well, what if I told you that not only could you build it yourself, but you could customize it in a way that would fit your space and your style? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to do just that, turning ordinary wood into stunning durable countertops without breaking the bank. But that's not all. This isn't just any wooden countertop. Do you guys remember those old school desks where it would actually lift up, revealing storage underneath? Well, I've taken that idea and I brought it into the modern day with hidden features. So this countertop, guess what, is mounted with pistons. And so it lifts up easily, revealing spacious storage underneath. So this, in my opinion, is the perfect form, function, and a little bit of nostalgia wrapped into one. So if you're looking for a project that is as practical as it is stylish, guys, stick around, because I'm going to be walking you through every step of the building process and building this DIY countertop. Hidden features and all. Hey guys, just a pro tip, when you are actually trimming off or cutting off the corners on your boards, go ahead and save those scraps, because inevitably you're going to be able to get pieces that are at least 1/8 of an inch, which is what a standard stir stick is, or anywhere up to 1/4 of an inch. And you can cut those down later and make a ton of stir sticks. Now, you might be thinking, well, don't you get those free when you buy paint? Well, at our store, at least our local box store, they've limited or started limiting them down to just 1 or 2 sticks at the most. So it does pay off. Save these, increase your resourcefulness. All right guys, now in my particular case, as you saw earlier, I'm going to be lifting mine up and hinging it, and therefore it's going to get a lot more wear and tear, if you will. So I'm actually choosing to use a Dowel Max. These take 1/4 inch dowels that actually, one, reference the top face to get them very equal, but two, it's actually going to fortify my joints, making it a little bit stronger. Now, honestly, if you're going to be using this as strictly just a countertop and you're not going to be hinging it up like I am, you really would not need to do the dowels in order to joint these together. But being as I have it, I'm going to go ahead and do so. And these are those wooden dowel pins, and these are actually compressed. So once you add glue, they'll actually expand once you get the glue and the moisture with it. And then for me, a lot of the time I see people trying to put their boards together in a variety of different ways, but the approach that I found that actually works the best for me is I just clamp them, squeeze them, bring them together. And now that I've got these two boards together, I'm going to add that third one. And after I get done adding that third one, I'm going to actually let it sit overnight to get back out and work on this. All right, now the reason why earlier we talked about leaving it a little bit longer so you can go back and actually rip or kind of cross cut the ends and get them all uniform, even, and perfect. Then we're going to remove that, and we're going to get everything kind of set up. I'm going to use the red rosin paper put underneath, and then we're going to actually use these bench cookies, which I think are just phenomenal. I use these actually all the time. And then of course we're going to do the old famous sanding, try to knock down any loose ends. But honestly, with these, with the Dowel Max, it actually really helps keep that reference face very, very, very level. Now we want to let the conditioner dry for at least 30 minutes. Right, so I applied the conditioner with just a layer and then wiped off the excess in the direction of the grain specifically. And I ended up using a foam brush as opposed to a brush or as opposed to a cloth. I just like that better. I went ahead and I removed the turkey because I'm getting ready and I'm going to get prepped. I want to actually create the cubbies to go down in it. Now guys, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to do a test piece on what you're thinking. This is the original color that I was gonna go with, and this was more of a grayer tone, a gel stain. but honestly, I did not care for it. So then you're gonna see me actually trying this mahogany. And honestly, as you already know, this is the one that won my vote in the end. We got a layer of stain already on. Now, if you want to make it a little bit darker, of course, you can always go back and add a second layer, but for me, I actually wanted to keep the lighter tones, so I then went ahead and now started adding on my first coat of my polyurethane, and of course, I'm actually using an oil-based. Here we are, just as after letting it sit overnight. So it's been the 12 hours, which I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give it a light sanding with a 220 grit sandpaper, and then add one more coat of the polyurethane. All right, so here you're gonna see me actually working on the railing, and for this I know that I'm not gonna be using it to put a ton of body weight, but it's more of a reminder just not to fall off the back. And so guys, you see me reaching this off the back because I had to do a 90 to increase my floor space as opposed to doing it directly on the deck, if you will, itself. A couple things that I wanted to say is, one, you'll notice overnight, I let this sit for greater than 12 hours on purpose, basically. After 12 hours, you have to do a light sanding. There's no way around it, right? Otherwise, that's what you do to score the surface to allow the new coat, the new layer to bond. But there's another benefit to sanding as well, and that is if you get like an extra thicker, you get a thick spot, specifically on the ends is where I tend to do it, right? As you're scraping, it unloads the brush more so that there's more sitting in that spot. Making a bigger pool of the top coat than the rest of it, right? So it allows you to even that out. However, this is my second coat, right? It's no longer sticky to the touch. It's no longer tacky, right? So it's tack-free is another term you're gonna hear. So I'm gonna go ahead and add another one. It's been 4 hours since I did my other one, and you can recoat after 4 hours under the assumption, right? Room temperature, it dries normally, right? Because if you're in lower temperatures or higher humidity, it will generally take longer for it to cure. So I am going to elect not to sand it. I know every video you watch, it does say that you should sand between every coat. And again, that is just to minimize alterations. However, for me, I actually am thinking it looks too nice. I want it to have some imperfections, right? Look around this place, right? My boards aren't perfectly aligned, but that's that rustic farmhouse style flavor that I'm desiring. So it's been 4 hours, I'm gonna recoat it as is. The two chemicals will still bond to each other because this isn't officially or fully cured out, right? So it will still bond to it, and you have that recall window of up to 12 hours if you're wanting to do that. So let's go ahead, let's get started. All right, it is installation time. I'm so excited for this and also a little bit nervous because I've never done gas pistons, but you're gonna be seeing me using these heavy duty 8-inch gate hinges. And just to point out, guys, this whole reference is amazing. If you don't know, if you don't have one of these, they're roughly about $5 to $6 a count or for one of them, and they actually just help you kind of size things up. I use mine all the time. And what you're gonna see is I'm gonna install these hinges with 2 bolts in the front and then in the very back 2 openings, if you will, to fasten down. I'm actually gonna be using screws for those areas here before I get the top mounted. Coming up here, and just because of the vibration or just the use of the up and down with it. I'm actually going to be using some locking washers for these. All right, here we go. Special thanks to Bone Crusher coming on out, helping me out with this portion. I was actually, honestly, a little bit nervous to get those lined up, but it worked flawless right out of the gate. I think there's a little bit of forgiveness with these hinges. They're heavy duty, they worked great. And again, you saw me just putting a little bit of a piece in the front there just to kind of get the gap the same on the front and the back. And one of the things that I found to be really interesting is that how do you really know what gas pistons to get when you get the instructions? It tells you how to figure out the length. So I've actually put these formulas up here. So if you're looking at trying to get a gas piston, as far as the length is concerned, you have the formula there on how to figure that out. And so now I'm just going to mount those. One thing to be careful of is the mounting brackets do come separate. So I actually ordered the pistons and then I had to go back and reorder the mounting brackets, which in my particular case were 10mm mounting balls that went in and attached. The thing that I'm pointing out here is, especially if you're going to be doing this outdoors, you want to do it so that the piston is facing down. And I believe that that's so that if rain comes, it's not going to actually get into the actual piston itself. And so here I'm just actually locking those into place. And here I'm going to throw up an adjustment. If it's not swinging up or down right, in my particular case it was, then you can go ahead and you can make some subtle adjustments to get those pistons to work perfectly. And of course, now we're just going to be doing the finishing touches, which I'm super excited about. I love the stain, the mahogany. I think it turned out really well. And I put that extra liner on that outside corner just to kind of hide that little door, so you really wouldn't even know that it's a special storage area unless you've, of course, been told by me or you've seen this video. Shh, it's a secret. Before we get further along in the finishing process, you might be wondering about the framework design for the bar. Now, if you're interested, check out this video that I'm going to have linked up top here, as this is actually a part 2 of that build. And if you want the full breakdown of the cost, check out in my description where I'm going to have all those details there for you. And as always, guys, if you found this helpful, hey, consider giving it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more DIY projects like this.